Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome inside the studio. Chad Rosema here in studio alongside my Hall of Fame pal, Randy Waples, prior to jetting upstairs. So, Rallis, how did this work out? So we both, are part of this big weekend, the Breeders' Crown. It was a roaring success. We had a great time. It was a lot of work we all put in, not just on the weekend, but leading up to it. And he gets the day off.
This is the life of John Rallis.
It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
They say life of Riley. I say life of Rallis.
Hey, that's a good one. We'll have to remember that one. Yeah, Jersey John there. Absent tonight, but, absent with a cause. I think he's got some trot issues to get
which
through or
to be expected, right?
Yeah.
We're just poking fun at you, Johnny.
Yeah. You know what? I got a feeling if he had to get his stuff done for trot or be here, talk about BC races, he'd be here.
Yeah. I'm sure he would. Yeah, and we're going to talk a lot about the Breeders' Crown races, but I want to get a quick reaction from you about, because obviously it was such a big build-up. We're for lack of a better term, we're jacked up over the weekend. That's just how it is. I know we all had a great time. As I mentioned, it was a great success from all different angles. But then Sunday comes, and yes, we have football, and that's kind of my day to be. Again, for lack of a better term, somebody that rots on the couch.
Oh, couch-worthy.
Yes. We'll say that as summer of George.
Yes,
right? Yeah, we'll call it
you got
that.
One of those
I just don't.
fridges,
That's what I need. Yeah, but how was your Sunday? How was the
come down?
You decompressing.
Yeah, no, it was good. Actually, I had some friends up from the Maritimes that were here for the Breeders' Crown.
Yep.
And yesterday there, we just kind of, drove around, showed them a few of the training centers, and, eventually got them back to the airport, and they headed back home last night. So, I was busy yesterday, so it was kind of nice. Watched a little bit of football, but not, decomposing on the couch or anything like that. But, it took, I'll tell you one thing though, Chad, it took me a while to get to sleep Saturday night. That was a very, very entertaining night.
Yeah, no, and my Broncos laid a 44 on the America's so-called team. The Dallas Cowboys, they might want to think about changing that. You know what, though? You could put 44 up on that defense.
Yeah,
for
sure.
It's kind of poor. But no, it was a great Sunday. I enjoyed it. I'll tell you, one of my favorite things about the Breeders' Crown is, and again, I know that we only get to host it every few years, and it's such a pleasure when we get to do it, but it's the opportunity to be able to not only meet new people, but then to see people I don't get to see all the time, whether it's owners coming here from other parts of the world, or horsemen, trainers and drivers and whatever it may be. And it's just fun to catch up with them. We had a great reception put on both nights after the races and during the races, and an opportunity to go over there, and just nice to catch up with people, and then again, just to meet new people too.
I don't know if I met too many people, but what I like about it is kind of like along the same lines as you there, is the catching up, because it's amazing to me when you have these big nights, whether it be a Breeders' Crown or a North American Cup, how many former horsemen or former grooms show up here. They all do. And that's the part that I like the best, is seeing the people that actually used to work in the business, hands-on with the horses, whether they be second trainers, grooms, trainers, or whatever, you know what I mean? And then you don't see them for a long time, and then they're all here on these big nights. That's really cool. I enjoy that.
Yeah. Well, we today's show, I know we have an 11-pack coming up here, and Randy's, gonna be talking a lot about it throughout the entire night. But our focus here is actually, we're going to kind of keep with the Breeders' Crown theme, and we just don't want to let it go. It was so much fun, and there was not a boring race amongst them. I mean, 12 finals. We crowned 13 champs because we had a dead heat thrown in there as well. So it was, a lot of fun, and we're going to just recap them all. We'll have a good look at it.
I think it was a perfect storm.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, and, to kind of tee up on that verbiage there, is Mother Nature cooperated.
Exactly.
It was dry. Yeah, it might have been cool, but that's fine. I'll trade that.
We got to track records out of it.
Oh, my goodness. And I wanted to get to that, too, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But here again is how they were lining up for the 2-year-old filly trotters. So Friday night were for the freshmen. And you know what? Listen, I can't expect everybody to have tuned in and watched. Some might have watched back after. I mean, the World Series was getting underway, and not just for the hometown crowd, but the LA Dodgers obviously have a big following. So I can't blame anybody if they decided that was the route they wanted to go either. But that's fine. We've got you covered here because we're going to have a look back at all of these. So, going into this race, we know how it played out. It ended up, we kicked off Breeders' Crown 2025 with a first for Ratchford and a first for Bax in their debuts nonetheless. And I thought it was a pretty slick steer. I saw Todd, I think I saw him both nights after the reception, but I was chatting with him on Saturday, and I just said, hey, congrats, this was awesome, man, happy for you. And I just said, how close were you to pulling in the backstretch, though? Because he was sitting fifth, and an opportunity to get out. And as you know, it's, especially a guy that has never been in a moment like this, but he said, I thought about it, but, in hindsight, he made the right move.
Oh, absolutely. The whole thing was he going to get out or not? And he did. He stick handled his way through there. Not the first time that this guy's done any stick handling in his life, but he certainly did stick handle his way down through the defense, found an opening and just sailed right on through it. The big thing with this, Chad, is not just the fact that he won with her, it's how he won with her. Like, she's only going to get stronger if he keeps doing what he's doing. Every time she comes out of a race, she's going to be as fresh as a daisy. He raced her like less than a quarter of a mile, like if he keeps doing what he's doing, this girl is really, really going to respond, down the road, even in a big way. And I don't even mean this year. Maybe she's done, maybe she's not. I don't know. But I know one thing, with trips like this, when she comes back as a 3-year-old, she will appreciate every one of these. He is doing such a fantastic job. And Matt Bax, too, having her right on her toes.
The fastest mile of her season came in her 12th start.
Right. Matt's just got her, moving forward into these starts, So, 2 young guys, first for both, like you said, and I couldn't be happier for either one.
So first for them in their debuts, but for the owners, 2 of the best in the business over the years. Al Libfeld and Brad Grant, who have always, this sport doesn't operate without owners like them.
Absolutely.
And they've had a tremendous amount of success, whether it be breeding or just owning.
Well, how about the charity challenges in the Breeders' Crown?
And that too. So great to see them kick off the Breeders' Crown with a local horse getting it done. And we had our fair share.
What a name, too. Storybook Love.
Yeah.
It was a storybook everything.
Yes, it was. And then in race number 7, it was the 2-year-old filly pace lining up in here. And we're going to continue to gush about the 2-year-old pacing colt division in there and a certain someone in there, but we can't help but gush about this filly too because although she may not carry an undefeated record, but we got some great stuff from Ron Burke where he talked about, she wasn't necessarily right at the start showing like that she was this kind, but then she started just, better and better, and then he's like, well, wait a minute, she's special. And, she has just looked like just such a powerhouse as this daughter of Sweet Lou, and showed it again, in 49-1. And as you know, yes, even though we were getting some fast miles, it was cool nights, on Friday and Saturday.
And this was a damp night. The air's thicker when it's damper. There's moisture in the air, so they don't go through it quite as quick, but didn't seem to slow Mrs. Deepa down.
It didn't. It was a 1-2-3 finish for Burke pupils in here, but headlined by his 2-year-old filly Star in Lua Deepa, and she's just incredible to watch. The way that she goes, she just looks like a well-oiled machine, and I wouldn't, if you just showed me her, I'd say, wow, this isn't a 2-year-old pacing filly. This is some age mare that's up against Twinbee Joe Fresh or something, but yeah, just awesome.
She's just better than the rest.
Yes,
That's basically what it
doesn't mean they won't
boils
catch
down
up
to.
next year, but for now,
she's just better.
She is better.
Are.
Yes,
she is,
100%.
and not better by a little bit, better by a lot. She's probably got a 2.5 seconds on anything in there. Not just because she's able to win that watch, just how she does it. He never has to trip her out. Sometimes he does, but it's not because he's gotta. He does it. He races her, and she doesn't need any help out there. She is just the darling of the 2-year-old pacing fillies.
Yeah, and that's a homebred for Burke, and you're seeing more and more of these top horses be homebreds. They have. They didn't just do it. It's been for a while now, but just the empire they've built. And I'm sure when it went back to Mickey Burke Sr. and getting into it, this is probably what they envisioned.
Oh yeah,
we'll buy at sales, we'll have our horses, but then we're going to get studs, and we're going to have good brood mares, and we're going to start breeding our own. And get these champions, and that's just what they've been doing. It's incredible.
Yeah, for sure. They got their own factory. That's what they got. They got a factory of champions there, and they just keep popping them out.
Yeah, no, exactly. So that was race number 7. Turo Filly Pace. We move on. Race number 8 on the Friday card was the Grade 1 Breeders' Crown Final for the Turo Colt and Gelding Trotter. So here we had the Mohawk Million champ that got a bye straight to the final because of his Peter Houghton victory. Apex was his name. He hadn't raced since the Million. Did that play against him? I'm not going to say it did because it's Marcus Melander. I mean, this guy knows what to do. He'll have them ready to go. It just was not Apex's night.
Yeah.
It was others' night. And one of the things I know you were talking about it, then I had a little segment about it on the Friday. Jason Bartlett, who, is perennially one of the top drivers, but as we know, he'll do a lot of his driving at, Yonkers and that, a lot of big money, wins a lot of races. Last year, he got a lot of opportunities in the Breeders' Crown, nearly won a couple, but he came into this year with a lot of good opportunities, won a couple of eliminations, but he had never won a Breeders' Crown race. We had a good feeling he was going to, get that monkey off his back this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Especially, well, number one, he had live horses, but he was driving so good.
Yes.
Really, really driving
Yep.
well. Sometimes you go into Breeders' Crown and maybe that, you're not on your game, but he certainly is right now on his game. And my thing is this: I don't think that the time away got Apex beat, but I do think that the combination of the time away and then the first over journey,
Yep.
also it was into a sprint. And, that's when you're really going to see. Now, Jason Bartlett, 2 weeks in a row, he tripped this horse to death. And that is the big difference. You can see Diabolic Hill coming on the outside for Todd. But this is the thing. When you trip a horse out the way that these guys are tripping these things out, they get stronger and stronger. And he trips him out 2 weeks in a row. If this horse has another race coming up, if he's not done yet, I'd be playing him big time because he's the one that's going to be bringing the most energy into these races right now.
Yeah, and pretty impressive that, like Jason had him in a perfect spot, but Diabolic Hill raced great again, but anybody that was trying to close was really up against it because it was a cheap first half.
That's it.
Right?
That's
it turned into a sprint off of that, and the horses to finish 1 and 2, I thought did pretty well to be able to reel in those pace setters. I mean, Wilder's horse raced great from out there. I thought Jody's horse raced well too, laying the plane. He ended up being 5th, I think, in there.
Yeah.
So, he got some decent money. And then, like you say, Apex, so he's first over, and he's first over when the pace is against you, too.
Yes, exactly. That's mean. If he'd have been first over a hot pace and then he moves him and the back half slows down, then I don't think the time away bothers him.
Yeah.
But I do think that the time away going first over into a very, very tepid pace and then turning it into a sprint at the head of the lane, I think it maybe just got him a little bit. And plus, like you said, too, it's been a long season.
Yeah.
He's done really, really good things. Maybe this week wasn't just his thing, but take nothing away from Spencer Hanover or Jason Bartlett.
And I don't know who we'll see in the with the fall 4. I think it's the Valley Victory it is for the boys.
Yes,
right?
the 2 year, yeah.
Colts.
Yeah.
But even if Apex, if that's it for him this year, what a great year.
Oh, unbelievable. All
what a
those
big
horses, it was the whole field was just stacked with talent.
Yeah. And then the main event on the Friday card was race number 9. And we had our undefeated
Were you
Bojangles.
nervous?
I wasn't nervous,
No,
but
not the call. Nervous about whether or not he completes it as undefeated, because I was.
I can't say that I felt the nerve, but what I felt, and you and I were talking about this, was that I was just really, not that I have any kind of vested interest in
me
him
neither.
from a financial standpoint,
Yeah.
but we're racing fans.
That's right.
And we know how important a horse like this can do for the sport, and just the promotion of it, and just something to hinge your hope on going forward. And I just prayed that he would stay undefeated.
Yeah.
And it was a tall task because, believe me, this is a deep group of 2-year-old colts. There's a lot of, I was talking, to a friend of mine who said, there's horses in here that have got world record marks, yet they're not even the top 2-year-old.
No.
Right? So, but Bojangles, and he was making his 12th start.
Yeah.
And every race, if I'm not mistaken, every race he had has been, whether it's OSS stakes or Grand Circuit stakes. It's not like he's been in Nominers or one or anything.
No.
Right?
No.
Everything has been stakes.
Stake races.
But Bojangles, he lived up to it. And then, like we saw with Storybook Love, who also made her 12th start of the year, Bojangles, just like I said at the end of the call after the wire, does he get tired? This is his. I know, again, the track was great, but 48-3. And I had people tell me that they thought if he needed to, he could have gone more.
Oh, I think so too. Yeah, I agree with you. I was nervous. And the biggest thing is because I didn't want to see him go down because, maybe a couple of other horses took shots at him. Let's say they didn't have they didn't have a big chance of winning, and then they rough him up. And then he gets
They
beat.
tried a bit early. I mean, Dunn's stretching a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But all they're doing by doing that, and I heard
Yeah, I heard you
McClure's
talk.
interview,
Yeah.
is because they're stretching themselves out.
Yeah, you
They're
talked
not
about
hurting
that.
him.
Yeah.
They're not hurting him in
Yeah.
the least. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It would be like trying to play rope-a-dope with Muhammad Ali. You're not going to hurt him. You're not going to tire him out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? If he's punching away at, because he's a rope-a-doper. This guy, absolutely. You know, there's no way that he. You know, look at him rearing up after his 12th start, all stake races, all wins, and here he is jumping up and down. Look at him right now. Like this is a horse that's not tired. This guy is a freak. For
Yeah.
a better word, you know what I mean? He is an absolute pacing freak, and he wants to win races. And I don't look at this. I don't know who to compare him to, Chad. I think he has the athleticism and the abilities and the speed of Some Beach Somewhere, but I think he's got the brains of Cam Fella. Like, I think he'll do what he has to do. You know what I mean? I think the whole time that he's out there racing, he's thinking about what's going on in this race. He's not just out there going fast. He's thinking about stuff, because there's been a few times where horses have got up beside him. He's let them. Like, Bob will be chasing
Bob
him.
talks about that. He
And,
waits on
and then
them.
all of a sudden he'll just take off on them. I mean,
Yeah.
he plays with them almost.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So-
And I know you talk about comparisons, and we love to do that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But at the end of the day, we can't stack these horses up against them, right? They're
no.
just generational talents.
That's right.
Let's call
That's
them
right.
that. But what's going to happen is that in the future, people are going to be comparing other horses to Bojangles.
Yeah,
That's what he's
100%.
done. He has established that right to have
100%.
horses compared to him now
Yes.
in the future. And he's just completed one of the greatest two-year-old campaigns ever.
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest thing that I took from Friday night. It wasn't just the fact that he won, it was the fact that he sent me home happy. I was happy. I'm happy to be in the same sport as Bojangles.
That's what I'll say to you is like
What,
you
I'm
asked
happy
me
to
about
be in the same sport as you?
No,
Well, I don't know about that.
Is you said, were you nervous?
Yeah.
At the end of that race when he won, I had a sigh of relief.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of
Again,
the same as
not
me.
that it did anything for me.
No.
From I don't own him, I don't train him, I don't
You're a
nothing
fan.
like. But yes, a fan.
You're a fan.
And we just want it. You know what I mean?
And you know what's really cool about him too is that we started this off, you and I, before Breeders' Crown, before Metro, which, you know, your favorite race of the
Yep.
year. Before the Metro, you and I were already fans of Bojangles.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Since the Metro and the Breeders' Crown, there's a lot of people on both sides of the border that are big fans of Bojangles, and not just fans of them. I'm saying that people that have drove against them, trainers that had to race against them, they are starting to understand that this is not just a horse up in Canada. This is a special, special kind of a horse.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a long wait for us. Can you imagine the wait it's going to be for guys like Bob McClure and Doc Moore to get this guy racing next spring?
The owners?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, everybody always says the prestigious year is your 3-year-old year, right? And what he could do. So, yeah, I mean, we've got that hope. Looking forward to it.
And quickly before, you know, we get anything else, I just want to also send a big shout out to not just to Doc Moore, but the entire Moore operation, and especially Riley Nobes
Yep.
for the way that he's kept this horse so good all year. Riley, you and Bo, just like that.
Yeah, no, love it. All right, so that was Friday. I mean, we had enough storylines going in and coming out of Friday, and some fantastic performances. And I kind of felt like, you know what, if we can get 8 that are even close to those on the Saturday, we're in for a good show. And I would say we did. You know, we had awesome performances. The first one, it started at race 2, and we went 8 straight from there.
Yeah.
It was the open mare trot right off the bat. You know, your usual suspects in here. You know, MM's Dream's a horse that, you know, when she takes the shoes off, she's different. And she looked awesome.
She looked
But
fantastic.
they were really sprinting on the end of it. And, you know, the one that was able to do it was Warwi Michelle in here for Oka Svanstedt. And, you know, he's had a pretty good, you know, run in this division specifically, but a lot of the trot divisions. But this one, I think I said, he's won like 4 of the last 5 or something like that.
It's some crazy
in
number.
this. I
He's
mean, he's
owning
just
it
got
right now.
so many. He's we'll call him the ladies' man.
Yeah,
that's
no
what we'll
doubt,
call him.
eh?
But I mean, I think she came home in 26 and change to win here.
Yeah, what I liked about it was the fact too is that, you know, that he elected not to leave with her.
Yeah.
He raced her a different way. You know, she's completely, you know, it all really looked like he was going to at least get her out of there and get her involved. At least a Hanover left out of there. He's got the 6-hole, but he goes the other way, and look at her coming on the end of it, and just, you know, more wizardry from Oka and the entire Svanstead organization. We see it every single year.
Yep. So that was a stakes record because we had a bunch of those, and actually going back to Bojangles, stakes record was also a new track record for the Colts here
Canadian
as
record?
well. Yeah, track and Canadian. Yeah, we don't. You know, I know we say that, but we're actually done with all of the Woodbine ones now. When Brandon Boulevard went 48-4,
right?
That erased
everything.
Sweet Lou's 2011 Breeders' Crown 49. That was the only Woodbine track record that was still standing as far as Canadian, because you know I don't expect to see any of the other tracks in Ontario put up the speed we do, right?
No,
but that was the first one that we had in there. Then race number 3, this was the one where it's we got kind of a gut punch, and again, just as fans, because when we heard that Twinbee Joe Fresh had to be scratched, and I think I saw on social media Chris Ryder updating a bruised foot.
Yeah,
is what she's got, and they did right by the horse. And
listen, they tried to race her.
Yeah,
they did. Like they didn't. This was no easy decision. They took the shoe off, tried to get her. You know, hoping.
I didn't know that.
I think so. I think they did a lot of things. They got the nail out that they thought was maybe a little bit too close, hoping that would be enough to give her some relief and they could race her. But it wasn't. The damage was done. The nail was too close. It left it's just too hard on them to do that. And the track was firm. It was firm. You know, it was firm from Friday night when we had a little bit of rain. They kept it firm on Saturday. You know, the track was in amazing shape, but a bit firm. It was fast. They just couldn't do it. So they had to, you know, he tried and he tried and he tried. It just didn't work out. We didn't get to see her, but we'll get to see her down the road. And that's because he didn't do, you know, something foolish like send her out anyway.
Yeah. So obviously with the scratch of her, you know, the race we knew was going through her. Yeah, we were hoping it was going to be, you know, your typical Twinbee Joe Fresh Sylvia Hanover rivalry continuing. Well, then it turns into this race clearly goes through Sylvia. Well, Sylvia didn't have one of her best nights. And that's fine. She's got nothing to prove to us.
No.
We know what she is,
yes,
right?
Right?
She's an amazing mare that comes around, you know, every once in a while. And it's been a pleasure to see she and Twinbee Joe Fresh competing against each other and competing at such a high level over the last couple of years. But what it did is it opened up the door for, again, some newcomers to come away with their first Breeders' Crown victory. And Austin Hanners, the young, I think he's 26 or 27.
Ohio driver, right?
Todd, yes. Todd Luther as well. But I loved the drive because going to the last turn, he just said, I'm going to try and get away here. And he did.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. You know, sometimes in these stake races, like you don't want to overdo it, but to the same effect, though, too, if they're going to give you control, take it.
Yeah.
Control is what wins races. If you can get control, you know what I mean, then you're going to win races, you know. Maybe not every single time that you do it, but it gives you a way, way better opportunity. And that's what he did. He took matters into his own hand. Does he race her the same if Twinbee Joe Fresh is scratched? I don't know. But I know one thing. If I'm in Austin Hanners' seat and I know Twinbee Joe Fresh is now scratched and you're looking at Sylvia not knowing are you getting the good Sylvia or maybe the duller Sylvia, I think he just said, I'm going to take my chance here, and he did it, and it worked out for him, and well done.
Well, she was real sharp the week before in the prep,
yeah.
And then
But I don't know. Does he do the same thing if that other mare's on her form with the inside of him? I think
he maybe still leaves because he knows he could probably outleave her because she's got the rail, and it at least gives him a spot to be up near the lead. But I'll tell you, with her going 48-1, Twinbee Joe Fresh we know is capable of going quicker than that. But I mean, this is all hearsay now, but he would have made her work for it.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, maybe a new face in there. And a guy like Greg Luther has put a lot of money in the game, too, the last several years. So nice to see him getting, some nice ones, too, and winning moments like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. They put together a really nice stable.
Yep.
And, they're paying dividends for it now. We're going to see this as the night goes on. Another young trainer that's put together a pretty nice stable.
Yeah, well, right away in the fourth is where we go to next. And, Bill Pollock, Bruce Ehrman, and Andrew Harris.
Yeah.
They came together. What did Bruce Ehrman say in the interview the other night? It was decided over dinner or something that like Bill Pollock wanted to get involved in the game or something like that, and then it turns into that. He's buying all the horses at the sale or being the sale topper as far as the buyer, and then going out and buying horses privately, and like Yo Tilly after her 2-year-old year. And I mean, she's put together such almost a perfect season She was 10 for 11 coming in. She only had one defeat at the hands of Delaney Hanover in Kentucky, and it was still a great effort from her. She just got picked up at Delaney Hanover. There's who's not a slouch either. But Yo Tilly was the best one on Saturday night to give these connections their big win with Todd McCarthy. But I saw Andrew too, and I saw him actually before the weekend started. I just said, hey, Andrew, good luck or whatever. He's always a great guy to talk to. And he said, oh, we'll need it. And he knows that, right? He's level grounded like that. And he was pretty excited afterwards when I saw him, on Saturday night at the after party and just congratulate him. But yeah, he just knows this is what they've worked for. And, they want to continue to add more and more.
Showing my age, Chad, but I can remember them two boys, Andrew and Jay Harris, there, when their father had a stable, and actually not that far removed from when their father was the race secretary at Flamborough, but still had a stable racing.
Right? Jack Harris.
Jack Harris.
Yep.
And their sister Lindsay as well. But these two boys, I'll tell you, they learned from the bottom up. There was nothing given to them. They paddocked, they worked really, really hard. They were really nice boys.
But Storm up beautiful
right
here,
from
by the
bend.
way.
Oh, unbelievable.
And Mona Lishi. I mean, they both race great
and
for the
Sangria
locals.
Summer, another Kevin Ben picked up a fifth. You know what I mean? So he had a big Breeders' Crown very quietly, though. But yeah, really good. Nice to see Andrew doing what he's doing. And anybody that invests the money that those owners of his have invested, they deserve nothing but success.
Yeah, this was Verlin Yoder's horse, I think,
Yes.
right? Too.
Yeah.
So he did a great job.
Huge.
And I don't know what the number was, but I'm sure it was a big number.
I'm pretty sure it
he
had a
sold
lot
her
of
for.
zeros behind it.
And again, she's been, this is a great year for her, over $1 million with 11 wins to her credit. And, this is one that, for Andrew and his team, they got to be excited, as she embarks on the age career of what she can maybe do, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, she's one of those ones that's going to challenge the Svanstedt armada that he'll have, right?
Yeah, very, very interesting. And like I said, I just love the job that he's doing. Look how happy he is out in the winner's circle. This is a guy that just enjoys
and
racing.
the support from some of our, Casey, of course, who's been, helping him out with some of the pacers, and Gary Murner there as well.
Murner and Andrew at one time both worked for Casey at the same time.
And the groom, his main groom there,
used to be Tony.
I was going to say it was with Tony Alagna's.
Marcel, I think his first.
Is that
name
it? Okay.
I think so,
yeah. So. But great guy and a great worker that'll likely have his own stable someday as well, right?
Yeah, it's just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yeah, congratulations to connections there. Through Philly Pacers in the fifth, so this race here, especially the way the draw had worked out, and Chantilly hasn't quite been Chantilly-like, or at least didn't look like that the week prior. They made it was a shoe change on her, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. On Saturday?
Yeah, they went to aluminums, I think.
Up front, that's right. So, but Mickey and Minnie, holding on to win her elimination. She had the center of the gate. I think you were going unreasonable.
I was.
In there, right?
Yeah.
Now we had some dramatics in here, and it was one that we expected, and then one that we maybe didn't. But at the end of the day, it ended up being basically a rematch of last year's Breeders' Crown.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, nothing's given away to you, when you're in the Breeders' Crown. Which one did you think that it was just going to be all a Mickey and Minnie show? See, I went unreasonable, so I kind of thought that maybe there was a chance that she could get beat.
Yeah, I thought, Mickey and Minnie, second start back after a month away, she was able to kind of get tightened up there last week. I did think it was just going to be a Mickey and Minnie show. And then at the end of it, I didn't end up, I just called it a win photo. Initially, I was going to call Dexter on the inside, and then when I saw the slow-mo, I was convinced it was Dougie.
I said Dougie right from the start.
Well, Doug even said to me, later in the night, he said, Dexter said to him, congrats, man. Like Dexter was convinced it was him. Dexter went back to the paddock. Dougie was kind of mingling around waiting. And once the judges, it was taking a good 5-6 minutes, I was like, this got to be a dead heat. If it's taking this long, it's got to be a dead heat. And sure enough, it was. Not the first dead heat in the Breeders' Crown, but it's not like there's been a ton of them. But had Dougie, because Dougie's the one with the momentum on the end, had Dougie just got up, a foot later, she, what was she, 68 to 1 or
something like that.
Something
It's a crazy number.
It was massive, but pretty cool to see this, and I loved what we saw after. I mean, Mickey Minnie wasn't back right away, but then, we're seeing the fillies in there in the winner's circle, but then they had one Breeders' Crown trophy. Doug and Dex were holding it up between them. you know, and then they had both fillies come back and Clive doing some nice photos. It was just a cool moment.
Yeah, here's a cool moment for
Okay.
you. I was actually working for Jared Bako at one time. Probably the strongest horse he had in his barn at the time that I was working for him would have been about a 20 claimer. He gets rid of me, and look what he's doing now. There you go.
So another guy gets his first.
Yeah.
And I would have to think Robbie Schlegel of Glenview Livestock,
Would be
guy
very
that
happy.
lives not far from me, 10 minutes away from where I live in Elmira, away from the covered bridge, so he's on the other side. He deals in cattle mainly is what he does, but he's had some nice horses over the years. Renee Larman used to train some nice ones for him, and now the last Martini. But yeah, no big. This filly's been awesome.
Yeah, she has been, and I know there's another very, very proud person down near the London area, and his name would be Laurie Bako.
Yeah.
Jared's father, the great Laurie Bako. He's trained horses for me before.
Hanners with Skywalker C, I thought was great too on the end.
Yeah.
I mean, she was flying. And then Rodeo Drive Dale was just too far out of it,
Too
but
far
she
out
was
of it.
flying. You
Yeah.
know, she and Unreasonable are both in the Harrisburg mix sale. There's a lot of Breeders' Crown horses that started and some good ones, but you know, Burke will do that. I mean, my girl EJ was one that he sold as well, you know, and he'll breed others, but he'll sell and take that money to reinvest or whatever, right?
Yeah,
And Rodeo
yeah.
Drive Dale, I would think, is going to bring some good money.
I would think so, and Unreasonable there. I mean, just a perfect example of a horse that's coming from Irv Miller's barn. At the end of the season, she looks like she's just starting her season. If anything, you'd say, well, maybe she's carrying a little bit too much weight.
Yeah.
After a full season like that and the season that she's had, you know, big props to Irv Miller as well.
So 3-0 Colton Gelding Trotters were up next in race number 6 for their Grade 1 Breeders' Crown final. There's a look at the lineup. Obviously, we felt really good about our chances locally here because the Moticon Legacy has just been, to me, he has put himself just clearly atop the division over the last couple of months.
Yeah.
You know, setting some records and, you know, that futurity effort from the 10 hole to go those fractions and not give it up.
Yeah.
Just absolutely incredible. And again, another guy that you've worked with,
Yeah.
Luke Blay, you know he's going to have him here ready. He's going to have him refreshed. He's going to have him ready to fire on all cylinders. He'll do everything he can to have this horse on top of his game. I don't know if maybe he wasn't. Like, was there some underlying issue that ended up coming out after the race? Or, you know, because I know he got stung early, but when the half came up and they got a bit of a breather there, I just would have expected him to you know, fight on more. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I haven't been talking to Luke, and I'm just going to take a guess is the fact that really none of the determination race horses had a real huge Breeders' Crown. So maybe there's a little bit of something going on.
Or
Yes,
something, yeah.
maybe there's a little sickness, but take nothing away from Chuck One Dude here. And I call Chuck One Dude because Rick Zeron always called Scott Chuck One Dude. And so Chuck One Dude. I love watching this guy drive, Chad. I really, really, truly do. I mean, you know, just the way that he figures races out, always seems to be able to have them in the right place. And if he doesn't have them in the right place, he's still able to come up with a big effort, you know. So really, really happy for Scotty Z to get a Breeders' Crown in his own backyard with his family here and everything.
Yeah, so earlier we saw 50-2 for the Trotters. That ended up being the fastest at the time, all time in the Breeders' Crown, because King of the North had been the fastest. Then 50-1 here for Meshuggah up the inside. Melander, again in here, and I mean, this guy, because he's young too.
Yeah.
You imagine, you know, when we look back at his career, when he decides to hang it up, right, and that's a long time down the road, the numbers he might possess.
Oh yeah, and then just like take him away from the track. I mean, just talking to him away from the track, he's amazing. You know, he's just a really, really nice guy, very, very intelligent. You know what I mean?
That's right there. Anytime I talk to him, that's what I pick up on is intelligence.
He's very, very smart kid. Very, very smart
intelligent
kid.
guy in there. So yeah, Meshuggah. Scott Zeron already is that was 62-1, but I think he's already got the record for the biggest price ever in the Breeders' Crown. Dave Briggs was just writing about it in Harness Racing Update. The name escapes me now, but I think it was like 209-1 or something.
Wow, unreal.
Yeah, I forget the name of
Would
the
that be that Monty horse? Remember that?
No. Mickey, Monty Mickey, you mean?
Yeah.
No, he would have been one of the favorites or whatever when he raced in just a handful of starts. But I think it might have been a 2-year-old pacer though.
Lifeline to Hollywood Hayden.
Yeah, Hollywood would have it. Yeah. And, I was getting so much great stuff from him. I mean, I was up in the booth, so it was different, but You know what? I messaged him yesterday because he was chatting with me, and I just said, I wish he had been here.
Yes,
You know?
me too.
Yeah.
He's always fun.
He should be just an honorary guy at every Breeders' Crown.
Yeah, for sure.
You know
Just
what I mean?
the pop records themselves are worth it.
Yeah. All right. So then the Open Trot, we go into race number 7. Once again, not that he's a locally owned horse, but Ontario sired. And again, another one that. When was the last time you could think of a horse that, because when I think of Lexus Cody, he's been a nice acquisition for Team Burke, but to me, he was an open trotter, but a good one at that. But then all of a sudden, over the last 2 months, he's gone from a nice open trotter to clearly the best in the division, in the age division. And to me, at times, it wasn't even close. What a turnaround in just a couple of months. What an elevation, not even a turnaround, an elevation of his talent.
Yeah. I don't really know why. I could hazard a guess for you. My guess would be that Yannick drives him differently this year. Before he used to be, he'd always want him going out of there and putting him up either the front. He was starting to chop a lot of miles for other horses and that, He's been able he's been able to race him in different ways. And I think that, again, going back to, when he doesn't have to overdo it with the horse, I think that the horse is going to fire that much better. And he comes out of races not as tired, And I think that serves him good, down the road. He didn't, things just didn't work out for him this night. He had to come first. He did, but he had to come first over. And let's face it, other than Lua Deeper the night before, Ron didn't have a strong Saturday night, you know what I mean? I don't think anyway. Not as strong as they maybe thought that they were going to have. Obviously, Sipping on Sea Rock was kind of nice, but some of the other ones maybe didn't come up with the big effort that we kind of thought that they would. French Wine, another perfect drive by Jason Bartlett. And like I said, Lexus Cody raced good, but what I like about him, I think that he's gotten better because Yannick changes it up with him every now and again, so he's not coming out of the races doing all the heavy lifting every single start.
Yeah, what a big year. I think he'll still have the FanDuel.
I would have to think.
And some of these others.
Yeah.
There's actually some big racing at Hoosier this Friday, so it depends who's deciding to enter off short rest. I'm not sure exactly what classifications, but I know there's some Grand Circuit stuff coming up there.
I'll tell you one that I'd like to see them kind of carry on a little bit for maybe another month racing or whatever. Is I think that I'd love to see Logan Park keep racing and have them race them the same way that they're racing them right now.
Okay.
I would love to see that.
All right, we got 2 more to go, Randy. The penultimate one was the Glamour Boys through Colton Gelding Pacers. And I know you had been vocal the last couple of weeks on Blueprint. And again, another horse that's got nothing to prove to us. He's put together, again, an incredible year. And maybe late in the season here, things catching up. I don't know what it is. But it was another Burke pupil, and that's the beauty of the Burke Brigade. Is the
one that I had on top the week before.
Yeah, and he raced awesome. And when talking to Yannick at the reception on Friday night, he really liked this horse's chances going into the race.
Yeah.
The addition of Lasix, lately too, I think has probably helped him out. But he got a nice trip here, patient on the inside, and it just happened to work out. But again, Bartlett, at one point I thought he's going to get the hat trick.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Dandy Ideal.
Yeah, I thought so too. And I mean, we wouldn't have been surprised. He raced so good. Coming into this, but Yannick going to do the pylon skim this time, and great movement there by Sipping on Sea Rock, and for whatever reason, Blueprint just doesn't seem to have it right now.
Yeah, and up the inside here, I didn't know if he was going to reach, and then right there when I started, like when he was about a quarter of a length away, I thought, okay, no, he's got the momentum, he's got him, and he did. Just an incredible effort there from Sipping on Sea Rock, son of down by the seaside, 47-3. For him in there. So just an incredible effort. Dandy Ideal, though, big effort from him, too. And Dandy Ideal's a gelding, so we know we'll see
he's going to be coming back
for sure, which is always nice because, he's a horse that could turn into a real nice age pacer there for sure.
I wonder what their plans are with this guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I don't think I've heard anything
from
a breeding standpoint.
I think this guy's really flew under the radar this year. I mean, everybody's, Blueprint, which they should. I mean, he's been very, very good, but this guy's a pretty nice colt himself, I think.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. All right. And then, did we save the best for last?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Right?
I think so.
Certainly the fastest ever in Canada, fastest ever in Breeders' Crown history.
And how he did it.
And this was, the lineup in here. And again, another guy that he had, I think he had 10 or 11 starts prior in finals, Dave Maneri. He's having a great year again. He's really had a lot of big years the last couple of seasons, some really nice horses, not just these overnights. I mean, a lot of great stake horses. And Tom Pollock, again, another one of the really nice guys, in a sport that puts a lot of money into the game. Nice to see him up here this weekend, but he has sent a bunch to Dave and racing here in Irvine, Hanover. And you and I have seen this because last year in November, this horse was going 47 and change a couple of times. And we thought, this is when you're not supposed to go those kind of miles, but he likes the cooler weather.
Seems like it.
Guess allergies, whatever it may be.
Probably.
I don't know, but as fast as the track was, I wouldn't have been surprised to say that, he equaled it in 46 and 4 or something. I didn't think we'd see a 46 and 2 mile here.
No, I
He
didn't
hit three
see
quarters
that
in
either.
what was it, 20?
Yeah, but this is the part here. I mean, even when he wins the opens and when he wins eliminations and that, you don't see that kind of separation. This horse was king of the turf.
Yeah.
This night. Look at him coming. Look at him right there. You know what I mean? Absolutely striding right out. I mean, just had an unbelievable role this last go, and no matter where they were taking him to, he was winning. Whether it's Dayton or other places, he's winning. And he's just a really, really nice horse that's really coming into his own. And one other big prop out there too, that fellow that's holding that lead shank with Dave Maneri's arm around him. Yeah, that's Mark McKinnon.
He's worked with some great ones too.
Oh, he has, and I'll tell you something. This guy is unbelievable. He's gold, Chad, gold.
Well, congratulations to all of the winners, everybody involved, and Hamiltonian Society, Woodbine Entertainment Group, everybody on a job well done. It was a lot of fun. On to Scioto.
Let's do it again this year.
Yeah, on to Scioto in 2026 for the Breeders' Crown. I got to head upstairs, buddy. Good luck with the 11-pack here tonight.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy it, and good luck to everybody playing along as well. Again, we're just a couple minutes away from kicking off the $75,000 guaranteed early pick 5. Here's Randy with his plays of the night.
Okay, thanks very much, Chad. That was very enjoyable, living back through that again. So let's take a look at some of these plays of the night. Waples Watch is going to come along in race number 3, and that's going to be TH Trixar for kids. Going to be worth a look in race number 5, and that's going to be Tarquinius Hanover. We're going to take a chance with Tarquinius tonight. The next one's going to be Beat the Fave. That's going to be my friend Jose for Herb Holland. And my all-in, you're going to have to stick around for that one, but I think it's going to be a good all-in, and that's for What About Elmo in race number 9.